Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 14 of the Daybreak Podcast. We got Admiral Jim with us today from the Cleveland Floaters. Really excited about this episode. We have tons of fun stuff to talk about. So today's episode of the Daybreak Podcast is brought to you by Daybreak Enterprises, headquartered here in sunny Cleveland, Ohio. Daybreak Enterprises is a custom apparel company specializing in screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, and custom tie-dyed apparel. We also print hard goods such as promotional products and things like that. From beer league softball jerseys, event apparel, to large corporate accounts, Daybreak has solutions for everybody. Are you or your organization interested in getting some new apparel made? Head over to daybreakenterprisesoh.com today to browse their portfolio and get inspiration for your next project. Again, that's daybreakenterprisesoh.com to get started on your next custom merchandise project. So yeah, today we got Admiral Jim from the Cleveland Floaters. Jim is a Cleveland native and has an awesome story to tell. He's got a very diverse background that I don't know that much about. So I'm excited to get to know more about Jim's background, and we can kind of talk about the projects that me and Jim have been working on recently, and we'll just go from there. So Jim, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, your upbringing, and a little bit of your backstory?
Yeah, I grew up here in Independence. I live in Seven Hills, but I have an office down here in the Flats for the last 25 years, running my own business, multiple businesses. And essentially, I'm in Cleveland every day. I love Cleveland. I'm from Cleveland. And I want to support and do things for Clevelanders with Clevelanders, which is why you and I got together and started working on projects. I'm so glad that we met. So yeah, I've been doing this a long, long time. I'm an old guy in the internet business. I started when the internet first started to go up. I built Ernst & Young's first website. I built Progressive Auto Insurance first website. I built Sherwin-Williams first website, like back in the day, like when first websites were going up. And then I started a bunch of businesses in town. Went out on my own for 20 years. I didn't like having employees. Went out on my own, wrote a bunch of books, consulting, speaking, and now I'm creating some really fun projects in Cleveland in my 50s that I'm really enjoying myself and I'm having a great time with. And I'm glad that we met so that we could build some of those projects together.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know we've briefly talked about it, but what were like a couple of your prior businesses that you were involved in before you moved on to kind of what you're working on now?
Yeah, so they were mostly just like new media agencies. So before the internet companies existed, I'll tell you a great example is I started one of the country's first SEO programs before SEO existed. Before Google existed, I was doing SEO. I was literally getting our clients ranked on search engines. I would have to, every day, I would go to search engine, type in the keyword and see where the client ranked, and then take where they were and put it in a spreadsheet, and then do that for like 6 hours a day, and then send a report every day to the client and go, well, you were on number 6 on Alta Vista yesterday. Today you're on number 1.
Oh my God.
And it was crazy to do that. And it was SEO marketing before SEO existed. So I got really good at that, but I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. So I left and started writing books because I didn't want to be in the SEO business. So it was website design, SEO, and then I shifted more into online marketing.
Gotcha. Yeah, so like those companies, like you said, you're kind of trying to do them on your own, or you would bring in employees and kind of struggle with employees and then just kind of go back to doing it on your own.
Yeah, I mean, the first company I started, I was the 4th employee. It's called Moses Cleveland and Company. That's where I built those websites, and we grew that to about, I think it was like 50 people. I left there, started my own business with a couple other people. We grew that to 100 people. And then I was like, you know what? I don't like having employees. I don't like being the boss. I want to be my own boss. I don't want to deal with other people's stuff. I'll just run my own business. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
Yeah, that's something, I think about a lot. Like, I remember I toured a huge printing facility. It was like 100,000 square foot facility, and just walk through there, looking at all the employees in there. Half of them looked really miserable, and I'm just like, man, I want nothing to do with that many employees. Like, I'm cool with like a team of like maybe 10 people, but once you get up to having just hundreds of people, and it's just like, man, that's like a lot of people and a lot of headaches for me as far as I'm concerned. But so that's pretty cool that you were kind of at the dawn of the internet working on some pretty groundbreaking stuff with SEO. So besides Google, what were the search engines that were kind of before Google? Like, I remember Yahoo was one and Ask Jeeves was one, but were there other ones too?
Alta Vista was the other one. Ask Jeeves, that was a good one. Netscape was the browser before even Internet Explorer, way before Firefox or Chrome or any of that stuff, you know. Yeah, all the old stuff. You know, it was really interesting back then because there was so much less on the internet. You could rank for important keywords almost in an hour. So,
Wow.
for example, if you wanted to rank number one for the word business card or whatever, or phone, you could literally create a bunch of content, and within 24 hours or less, you could be like in the top 5 for like a term like glasses, right? Because there just wasn't a lot of content on the internet back then. So it was easy to rank. And then everything got really hard when everybody started creating content.
Yeah, for sure. Now, do you feel like over the years you've stayed like you've maintained like your education with the internet and SEO and that stuff, or do you think a lot of it's kind of like gotten past you since it's grown so much?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I haven't done any of that stuff, but yeah, I know how it all still works.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I don't operate on patience anymore, but I remember how to operate on patience. You know, I kind of know the whole field for sure. I stay on top of it. My business is mostly high level now, helping people create amazing offers, create internet businesses. The tactical stuff I leave to the professionals. For example, logo design, which we'll talk about. I used to be a graphic designer, but I never had any artist skill. So I would always go to the professionals to do that. Same thing now, SEO, website building, all that stuff. With today's tools, you can do a lot of it on your own, but sometimes you still need a professional.
Yeah, I think being thorough and having a professional look at it is wise for anybody,
Sure.
you know. So I think something that I get kind of interested in is like even like past SEO now and looking at like AI optimization and like how are you going to rank within like AI searches and within like these language models and stuff like that. So that's something that I've been trying to kind of keep an eye on a little bit. But that's cool. So it sounds like you have a pretty cool background. Now, are you involved with Destination Cleveland at all?
I'm a partner. Cleveland Floaters is a partner. That's about it.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure like if you were part of their company or
No. Okay. They're a well-run organization, but they're a bureaucracy. They've got, I think, probably 60, 70 employees, maybe more. But a great organization. They're kind of like one of those companies in town that you always would dream of wanting to work at. Like, if a short list would be like Metro Park's number one for me. Love Metro Park. Like, everything they touch turns to gold.
Yeah.
And then Destination Cleveland would probably be a cool place to work too, because I love Cleveland.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head with the Metro Parks, man. You're right. Like, what they did over at Edgewater is just beautiful. Their golf courses are amazing. The parks in and of itself are amazing. So, yeah, that's funny you say that because I've kind of thought the same thing. Anytime there's like rumors that the Metro Parks are going to take something over, everyone gets real excited because they're like, oh, it's going to be so nice, so much better. But I think something that I was also thinking about is like, do you feel like a lot of marketing principles and stuff from a long time ago are still very much like in play today with our marketing, or do you think like today's marketing is completely different than what it was say 100 years ago? I mean, obviously it is because of technology and everything, but like I'm talking more about like the fundamental principles on growing a brand, growing an audience, that
Well,
kind of thing.
it's interesting because that is kind of my background, my career. 16 years ago, I wrote a book called Attention. It's this orange one over here, and that was kind of really right before Facebook and was just taking off. And the landscape has shifted, right? It's easier than ever now to get attention because you have the ability to pick up your phone and create a TikTok video that could get 4 million views this afternoon. You and I could make one that could get 4 million eyeballs in an hour. We could do that. So it's easier than ever to get attention. What has become hard is keeping it and harnessing that and turning it into leverage or engagement for your audience, right? So that's the shift. And that's what creating memories and experiences is what keeping people with your brand forever. So anyone can do the attention part, which is great because that levels the playing field, because now anyone has the ability to go out and become known. But it's much harder now to keep people under the attention because of AI and because of everything happening in the world. So yeah, everything has shifted. At the end of the day, though, marketing is all about problem solving. Sales is all about problem solving. It's all about pain relief. At the end of the day, you have Advil. Someone has a headache, you give them Advil, right? It's the end of the day. And Cleveland's really interesting because Cleveland values, we're the most human city in America. I produced something called the CLE report, which analyzes all the reviews of businesses in towns, public reviews, and I take their data and I look at it and I digest it and I see what customers say about your business, about a restaurant, about whatever. Because that's the best mirror you will ever have, is understanding what your customers say about you. And some of the highlights from the report are basically such great marketing tools. Like, we value things that are worth it. We value people who treat people nicely, right? So to answer your question is, when you boil things down, especially here in Cleveland, your best marketing is the treating people nicely, is giving them something that's worth it, right? It's those types of things. Because anyone could go out and make a TikTok video. What are you really selling? You're really selling an experience, a memory, something that's worth it. At the core level of what you offer people has to be really strong. And that's the best marketing you'll ever have if you focus on that, especially in Cleveland.
Why do you think that is? Like, what do you think there is about Cleveland that makes it like that and kind of different from other cities? If you could put a finger on something, what do you think it would be that makes Cleveland like that?
Because we're no bullshit, right? Like, we do not play with fools and people who put on fake and people who try to pretend, there's something they're not. We just don't. This is why places like Margaritaville failed in the flats, right? Like, Margaritaville took a brand from Key West or Florida and tried to drop it in the middle of our city and said, come have a $17 Corona and a salad out of a bag. And they thought you'd pay that because there's a fake palm tree in the lobby. I mean,
Yeah.
It was fun to go there once, but I mean, give me a break, right? We didn't buy that, right? Porco's Tiki Lounge, they're kicking butt because they've created an amazing experience. Of course, it's not some national brand. It's a tiki idea, but it's unique. It's memorable. It's worth it, right? Margaritaville wasn't. So I always try to consult with brands. I'm like, what's worth it about your brand? Because Clevelanders need something to drive across town in I-90 traffic and potholes and pay $25 to park on. Like, if they're going to have an experience or do something like that, it better be worth it. You better have the best people in your building. If I walk into your candle shop and the person behind the countertop is looking at their phone and not paying attention to me, I'm never coming back. Never. People and product and making things worth it, and having a highly valuable product or service. And Cleveland, that's what we demand. And the reviews say it. I don't know why. Maybe I think we're just real down to earth Midwestern Great Lakes people. Maybe the Browns have made us so depressed that we just have to focus on other things. I don't know. I don't have the answer. I just know how it is.
No, I think there's some like practical examples, like you said, right? Like, okay, it's 10 degrees outside with a -10 wind chill, and then we have to drive across town through potholes, try and find parking, and avoid various other annoying things to go to something. Well, the experience better be worth that journey instead of being cuddled up on the couch, watching a movie with your loved ones, so this experience better be worth it. And I think you're really spot on when you talk about customer experience, because that's kind of something that I've really thought about with Daybreak a lot since like the beginning, is that I want the entire experience of working with us to be like really, really great and memorable and good for people. And, you're right. Cause I think about a lot. Like I think about like, okay, I go to a Cavs game and maybe I'm not even really like that interested in the game that much, but like the whole experience of going down to the Q and watch, or it's not the Q anymore, Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, the whole experience is pretty awesome. Like they put on a really good event down there. The food is pretty good. You're indoors, out of the elements. It's fun. Their crowds are always really good. So the whole experience is awesome. Whether they're playing a crappy team and the game doesn't mean anything, you're still having a great experience. And, I think honestly, that's kind of like why so many people still went to Browns games, is because for whatever reason, they enjoyed the experience. They enjoyed tailgating and drinking and having fun and partying and going and watching the Browns lose. And but they enjoyed the experience. They like being downtown. They like, walking through the streets with all the other Browns fans and chanting and doing the whole thing. And so it is really interesting to think about things, as a whole experience, instead of just this one product that I sell or this one service that I sell. And I like hearing that from you, because that kind of confirms in my head that it's been a good thing for me to really think about the whole experience of working with us and how can we elevate that experience and make it. Because if my company is selling the same product and service as another company for around the same price, my experience might be better, and that might be why somebody sticks with me. So I think that's really good input and really good insight for sure.
Yeah, you nailed one part of that, all of that, but one thing that I'll add on.
Just one part.
No, you got all of it. But one thing that I'll add on is you're not competing with the bar next door or the restaurant or the accountant next door. You're competing with Netflix. You're competing with Amazon. If you're a retailer, you're competing with frictionless consumerism, right? If you are a restaurant or a bar, you're competing with Netflix, the comfort of the couch, a warm blanket, right? Like, so you want somebody to get off their butt and come down to your, candle shop and buy your candles on Detroit. Well, guess what? Better be a good experience, and it better be worth it. Because otherwise, I can just sit on my couch while I'm watching Netflix and order the candle on Amazon and have it at my house later that day, and I'm happy. That's the world we live in now. And if your brain isn't in that spot as a business owner, you're in trouble, because people don't buy from you when they can go get it easier some other way. So experience is one of the biggest differentiators you can make. I don't care if you're an accountant or a rug maker. You got to create an amazing experience. It starts with your people, It starts with your product, and it starts with the second they interact with you.
Yeah, that's a huge thing for me, even like with small retail stores. I mean, I got a number of them that come to mind, and it's like a big thing for me is like, okay, am I going to go to that store on West 25th? Well, it's going to be hard to find parking, driving all the way down to 25th over all the potholes and people walking in the middle of the road. That entire thing makes the experience worse and makes it more difficult. So that's an interesting phrase that you said, the frictionless retail, because that all those things I just said, that creates a lot of friction and it creates a lot of barriers for me to even want to go to the store to begin with.
Life is all about friction. There's a great book called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. Probably one of the best books I've ever read in my life. Everyone should read that book. It's about resistance. It is about how your brain is designed to resist the hard things, right? Work, creativity, all the things you don't want to do. It's an amazing book. Highly suggest you read it. And that's what our brain does. Our brain is in protect mode. Our brain sees a threat, something that we don't want to do, and it's naturally built to protect us from danger. And and that's what it does. It says, do you really want to go there? Because you're not going to find a place to park, and they're going to charge $25. And last time you went, and then if you can get past all that and you get somebody to show up at your event or your bar or your shop or your office, and they have a crappy experience while they're there, they're never coming back. Never.
I can't tell you how many restaurants I've been to and I've left and I've said that exact thing. I'm never coming back. Like literally never. I'll never come back here. Give me a free meal ticket or give me $100 gift card for this place and I'll give it to somebody else.
It's silent death, right? They may not leave a bad review, they just won't come back, right? And your business can't run, especially in Cleveland, without word of mouth. One of the things we monitored in the Cleve report was, one of the biggest things people said in reviews was, my friend told me about this place, right? Because Clevelanders love referrals, telling people about other things. And that's a huge part of you having success as a business owner. But remember, people don't talk about things that they weren't wowed by. Meh does not get you to say you got to go here. The future of your business, I believe, events, experience is all creating high-level experiences. Because in a world where everything is so anyone can get attention, and there's a million things struggling for your attention. We scroll past more people every single day on social media than your grandparents met in their lifetime. Every day we do that. That's how much is happening in the world right now with these devices and these phones. So you think you're really going to get somebody to recommend you or share your stuff if your experience is just okay? You're not.
Yeah, man, this is a lot of really just great insight. And I think, with taking over Jakeware from Sandy was really scary for me because a big part of Jakeware's business is her live events and live shows that she does. And, I basically, we worked together. I shadowed her for a little while, and people just love Sandy so much, and I love Sandy. Everybody loves Sandy. And I was like, man, these are huge shoes to fill. Like people come here for Sandy. Like they come to buy Jakeware shirts because they love Sandy and because they love seeing her and getting a hug and talking and all that stuff. And I'm just like, I got really freaked out and nervous, and I'm like, man, like I'm not Sandy, and like I'm my own, I'm my own person, and but I was like, am I going to be able to fill these shoes? And the answer is no, I'm not going to be able to fill Shandy's shoes, but I can fill some kind of shoes that keep the brand alive and keep it moving forward into the future, which I've been able to do in my own way while still keeping the essence of Jakewear what it is. And I'm making my own, I'm building my own following, and I'm making friends with all these new people that come and see me, and they see us at the shows and they love seeing us. And that's a big thing at the shows, right? There's all the booths and there's a lot of stuff that they have to see. What is different about your booth, and what is going to make people want to come back to your booth? And really, sometimes something that I've realized, man, is that sometimes people just need somebody to talk to and have a conversation with. A lot of these people, they might not have a lot of people in their life. And I think that's the big thing that I kind of took away from working in these events with Sandy is she gave time to everybody. She didn't care who you were and what walk of life you came from. If you were buying a shirt, if you weren't buying a shirt, she gave everybody the time of day. And if somebody needed a hug, she gave them a hug. If somebody needed somebody to talk to, she was there to talk to. And that's a big thing that I took away, and probably one of the biggest things that I took away from it is just creating that human connection with people. Yeah, it's a business. Yeah, we need to sell shirts to make money, but we can humanize it a little bit and we can make human connections. And I think that's a good thing. And I think, like you're saying, those connections, those genuine, authentic experiences stick in people's minds and help you. They might pull out their Jakewear t-shirt or Daybreak t-shirt and feel good about themselves, or feel good about the memory they made when they bought it with us, and so all really, really, really good insight.
I'm writing a book right now with Tim Misny. I'm literally writing a book with the guy right now. So I'm deconstructing his brand. The book's all about how did this guy really build this amazing brand over all these years and become so indoctrinated with all of Ohio, right? And not to give away anything in the book, but the reality is everybody loves the guy because he's real. He's the exact person you think he's gonna be. He's this warm, authentic person that cares about people, and somehow that transfers from a billboard to when you meet him in person. And that's part of his magic, just like what you said about Sandy. That is what Cleveland loves. I interviewed Little John Rinaldi for the book from Big Chuck and Little John, and Little John said the same thing. He said, the reason that we had such success was I was always accessible. I was always willing to talk to somebody, always willing to take a picture with somebody, and Misney's the same way, and Sandy's the same way. That goes a long way in Cleveland. We love our characters in Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
But you got to be accessible.
Yeah, man. I mean, the first year, last year, was when I was on my own with Jakewear, and I'm running the shows, I'm running the brand. And, I mean, it is, where's Sandy? Where's Sandy? Why isn't Sandy here? Where's Sandy? And I'm just, and it was, Sandy had a lot of health problems last year that she was getting taken care of, and then people are like freaking out. Is she okay? Is she okay? And I'm like, yeah, she's fine. There's only so much I can tell you, though. It's like her private affair. If you want to call her, go ahead and call her. You could talk to her. So yeah, this year she's going to be out, making her celebrity guest appearances at the shows and whatnot. So
nice.
Yeah, it's cool. All right. So let's get into 2025 and 2026 and what's going on in Jim's life in 2025 and 2026 when you started kind of shifting over to thinking about starting floaters and everything like that.
Yeah, listen, 2020 I got colon cancer. I'm recovered now. I'm all good. 5 years cured. 2023 had AFib, heart issues. So I went through a bunch of medical trauma in the last 5 years, 6 years. And then turned 50, COVID, same time. Like, I just woke up one day. I was like, man, do I really want to spend the rest of my life in this little digital box we're in? Like, I don't want to stare at my phone all day. I don't want to be on the internet anymore. Like, how do I build a life where I'm with people? in a room or on a boat or something. So I sat down one day and I said, here's what I got to do. I got to try to get off the computer. How do I do that? And then came up with a couple of business ideas. One of those is Let's Go CLE, which is about making in-person human events for people in a business sense for business owners. And then Cleveland Floaters is basically a theatrical show on a boat that creates experiences. So, look, if you can figure out what you want in life and then write it down and then make a plan to go get it, things happen. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm transitioning into these two new businesses in 2026, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like the Let's Go CLE. I've read a little bit about it, but I like the idea of, like a business connection, business events with other business owners and founders and stuff like that. I went to the Founders and Friends with Cleveland Vibes this past weekend. I went to their other one a little while ago, and I really enjoyed those events because it was like a sense of camaraderie with other business owners and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed that, and I'm really excited to see more about like floaters. And so, is there anything in besides the fact that we live on the beautiful Lake Erie? Is there anything in particular that made you like think about it being like a boat theme event?
I just love the water. So I was actually working as a deckhand on one of the other boats in town last summer just for fun, and I was out on the water a couple of days a week, seeing guests from all over the world and different parts of the country, and I would be talking to them, and they would say, "Wow, what a beautiful city you have! What a beautiful sunset and this water, and it's so gorgeous." And they would say things like, "Boy, we don't have anything like this in Indianapolis. We don't have anything like this in Sacramento. We don't have anything like this, right?" And I was just like, you know what? They're right. I lived here my whole life, and we take it for granted. And I just was standing there one day, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna build an event based on the water. And the name Cleveland Floaters popped into my head. It was literally like one of those Thunderbolt moments in a commercial or a TV movie. And it hit me, and I went home, I registered the domain name, and started writing.
Yeah, there you go. I think that's a really good point, man. Something about being on the lake and the rivers here really are just like what I love most about Cleveland and Northeast Ohio in general. And, anytime I'm down in a city like Columbus or Indianapolis, I'm just kind of like, oh, like.
It's weird, isn't it?
It feels so weird.
Where there's no body of water. Like I'm in Atlanta. I'm like, where's the north? You can go every direction. It just feels weird. At least in Colorado, there's like mountains. There's like a border. Like, I think we're just conditioned to have this, like, you can't go north here. I'm literally like 1,000 feet from the lake right here.
Yeah.
And the river's literally 100 feet from my office, Cuyahoga River. So, I'm in between the lake and the river. And it'd just be weird if it wasn't there.
I know. And I think, my life growing up on the lake with my dad and being in the rivers all the time fishing and stuff, like, I couldn't live anywhere else, like the lake and the rivers and everything. And then even our inland lakes are really nice. Like, people don't really realize if you go down to like Akron, Canton area and stuff, we have a lot of really beautiful inland lakes and reservoirs and stuff to kind of hang out on and play on. And yeah, I got to be around the water for sure. And so the floaters, I want you to kind of go. I know you probably don't want to give too much away, but just for the audience, I know we've talked about it, but just for the audience, if you can kind of give some details about it and give a little bit of an explanation about what people are getting themselves into.
Yeah, the Cleveland Floaters is a joy-filled, theatrical, immersive character production on a boat, on a dock, on the river in Cleveland, Ohio. In other words, if you've ever, imagine you go to a Playhouse Square show, you buy a ticket, you show up in the lobby, but when you're in the lobby, there are characters you're interacting with who are in character. You get a beer, And then there's all kinds of stuff happening. You're interacting with people. Then you go, some emotional stuff happens because the show's really all about overcoming trauma and worries. And then there's all kinds of fun stuff that happens. So you're going to go on this emotional roller coaster, and it's going to be run by professional actors, comedians, fun music. You get on a boat, you go up the river, a bunch of cool, fun stuff happens. You come back to the dock. Like, it's unlike anything anyone's ever created. It's completely original. It's all Cleveland. It's run by Clevelanders, for Clevelanders, and it's completely ridiculous in terms of how fun it's going to be and how emotional it's going to be. It's going to take you between both things. The goal of this is worth it. The goal is you get off this dock and you go to your car and you look at your spouse or your friend, whoever you're with, and you say to them, that was the most unique, fun, crazy experience I ever had in my life. How do I buy a ticket for next weekend? Like, that's the goal. It's a big swing, but I'm giving it a go, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, you have that vision of you're locked in on that vision and you're going for it.
It is, I'm in founder mode. I don't know if you're watching this, if you've ever had like your thing that you're like, you have to get out of you, whether it's a logo or a show or a song or a speech or whatever. Like this thing is sitting here, and like if it doesn't come out, like Alien, it's got to come out. Like if this doesn't come out of me, like I don't know what's gonna happen. Like it's all I can think about. It's all I can prep for. It's all I have like less than 3 months till the first show, and it's so much work, but I'm having so much fun putting it together.
It really seems like it's energized you a lot. Do you feel like,
Yes.
you said you turned 50, you've had all this nonsense happen to you. Do you really feel like this is almost like you're catching like a second wind here in your professional life, like in your 50s? Because it really seems like it's energized you a lot.
Well, yeah, I mean, in a way, my kids are 24 and 21 now. So, the last 20 years were about making money, being with the kids, making sure they were good. And now that they're, kind of launched, now it's kind of like, oh, I had all these health problems and I had COVID happen and I'm turned 50 and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be in this little world I was stuck in for so long. I don't regret anything. I loved every second about the way I ran my life and my business for the last 50 years. But now it's time to do something that I'm really excited about and something that's going to bring joy to other people, that helps me accomplish the goal of making people smile. And, look, the Floaters is a mindset. Floaters is all about, our tagline is float above the BS, right? So there's so much divisiveness in the world, negativity, political, you name it. Can we all just come together for 2-3 hours on a dock, put our phones in our pocket, sweat, sing a song, have fun as humans, and just forget all the BS for a couple hours and just be human beings and have an experience together? Like, can that happen? And that's what the Floaters is. It's a mindset.
Yeah, I mean, God, you talk about the BS, man. There's so much dark energy in the world right now. Just like in every little nook and cranny you look, there's darkness, and it's awful. And on social media, it's nothing but darkness and awful stuff. And that's why, like, I always like the accounts that are like the positive news accounts and like stuff like that, just because it's like, oh wow, there is like some nice things going on. And so no, I think I'm really excited. I can't wait to get a group of people and come and partake. And so I also give you a lot of credit for really like, trying to put something together that's different, right? Because you could have easily just been like, oh, I have this really cool idea. We're just gonna get comedians to come on a boat. And like, no. you're like, no, I'm taking it a step further than that. Like, my vision is way bigger than just bringing a comedian on a boat every other weekend.
This is a show. It has 3 acts. It starts when you pull in the parking lot. There's an entry ritual. There's a act one on the dock. There's an act two on the boat. There's pre-built events, things that happen during the whole show. There's an exit. Like, it's a show, right? It's totally unique. And
It's an interactive experience.
It's an interactive experience that will be it'll be slightly different every single time, because there's no script. It's just, here's what's going to happen, and then I bring in professional comedians and actors to act that out as best as they can.
Man, the opportunities are endless with something like this. Like, it seems like all throughout the year you can just be like brainstorming different things and getting new ideas, and then year to year you can have new ideas, and you can take something like this a long way. For sure. You
got to deliver on it. What I'm finding though is that my scope, my idea in my brain is big, and it's a lot of work to put something like this together. You've got actors and costumes and boats and liquor licenses and ticket sales, and it's a lot. But you know what? There's a great book I read by Ryan Holiday. I forget the name of the book, but in the book he says, the work is the win. Right? So find something you like doing. The outcome is not the win. The work is the win, right? So I'm enjoying this so much. I don't know if you and your grandma are showing up, or 500 people are going to show up this summer and do a bunch of shows, but I'm enjoying the process of putting this together. And frankly, that's what life should be. You should be focused on doing things that you enjoy and things that light you up every single day. You should wake up like I do every day at 5 a.m, and my brain is like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to go down to the dock today and work on this piece of content or write this part of the show. Like, that is my life now. And frankly, I'm very happy to be in that spot. And I'm very privileged to be in that spot, that I've been able to create that life.
Well, good for you, man. I think that's awesome. And I can totally relate to wearing all the hats, man. Like, I'm going to start this, design and printing company. And then we're also going to have a media company too, where we're doing a podcast and doing content and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, that's great. That I always tell people when they give me their huge ideas, I'm like, I appreciate your enthusiasm, because that is a great thing. But we're going to have to kind of dial this in a little bit here. So let's talk about some like kind of more like practical things with the floaters. So how many shows do you think you guys are going to be able to put on this year?
The boat only holds 60 people. So each show is going to be 60 people on a private dock in the boat. So we're starting to sell private cruises now. So you can rent the whole boat. You can buy a whole show if you want. If you go to clevelandfloaters.com, you can pick a date, and you can bring your whole crew. We haven't started selling individual tickets yet. We probably won't do that till maybe 2 months from now, like right before Memorial Day. So I don't know. Look, this is one of those things, like, you just don't know. The hype is great. People are like, I can't wait for this, right? But I know better than that as a professional sales and marketing guy, right? Everybody tells you everything's great. Oh yeah, I can't wait to buy that. I can't wait to show up at your thing. But then when you put a ticket price and a credit card form in front of them, they're like, whoa, right? So you don't know, right? I think I'm right. We'll find out.
Yeah, and you're gonna grow along the way, right? You're gonna grow, and things something you thought was a good idea, maybe that wasn't a great idea, and you make a little bit of an adjustment.
Right. The work is the win. If I do 2 shows this summer and I get it out of my system and everyone's like, yeah, it was okay, then I'll know. I don't think that's going to happen. I think if I can pull this off, I think it's going to be something that we'll be doing multiple shows every single week. But then you got a whole nother level of problems. You got multiple sets of actors and boat time. I mean, running a show is very difficult, right? You've got a lot of moving parts.
It's a production, right?
It's production.
It's a production. It's a whole deal that you got to put together. That's another thing, because I even thought like, oh, I want to put on a Daybreak art and music festival every year, and it's like, dude,
Work.
a lot of work, a lot of work, and it's like, let's just kind of table that idea for a little while and focus on some other stuff. Yeah, man. Oh, that's cool. Well, hey, I'm really excited for that, man. I'm really excited for you and everything that's going on, and so you're pretty happy with the logo. I see you got it there on your shirt.
Yeah, so we got to talk about this. So you're gonna have to put it up on um, the
Yeah.
Cleveland Floaters logo. You have to put it up on this somehow. But
Yeah.
I hired your team to make this logo. I can make a logo in Canva.
Yeah.
I can, and it would have been fine. The reason I hired you and your team to do it is first of all, I needed a local Cleveland artist to actually do it. And I needed it to look like could put on a t-shirt from 1971, when the year I was born, right? And I needed to be hand drawn. I needed it to be something real. And you guys accomplished that goal. I couldn't be happier with the work that you guys produced. I got exactly what I wanted.
Man, that makes me really happy to hear, and I think that's, even as a artist, designer, whatever you want to say, the biggest thing that a huge part of it is trying to get the vision that our clients have this vision in our head, and a big part of our job is understanding what that vision is. And I think I had a really good idea. Like, I kind of wanted it to be something that was very kind of, I guess you could say, retro looking or 70s looking. Because I just like that look. And, Sandy is obviously brilliant, and she's from that area, or excuse me, she's from that era. And I knew bringing her on and helping her get her eyes on things and everything, I knew that was the right plan. And I'm just happy that you love it, man. That's the most important
you were
thing.
right. You were right when we first met, and you were telling me about her, and then the instant I saw some of her designs from the past, I go, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then we did a couple of revisions, and I got to tell you, I'm just thrilled with it. It just looks like something. It's exactly what I was looking for. It looks like something that could have been on a t-shirt in the 70s. And that's what the show is. It's a real human get together event. It's not a modern logo for a pop company, right?
Yeah, corporate logo.
It needed to look original, authentic, and just real. And that's what this looks like.
Yeah, that's why, me and Sandy are both pretty big at hand illustrating things, like, in these books behind me here. That's all like stuff that I've drawn by hand, and then I can get it into the computer, and then I can kind of edit it in the computer and do stuff. But it's nice because it still has that hand drawn element to it. And Sandy, everything she does is hand drawn. Like, she hand draws everything, and then just kind of we get it into the computer and we mess around with it, and
Yeah.
but it retains that that hand drawn feel, and yeah, I mean, you said, yeah, I can't wait to get it on more t-shirts and make it look sweet and put it on different stuff, man. And it's going to be awesome. And I think, having that logo that you're really happy with it's important because it represents your business, and you want to represent your business well. But it's also one of those things, like, when you walk out into a parking lot to get to your car, you kind of like when your car is nice to look at. Like, you kind of like seeing your car, and your car looks cool, and like, it's nice to look at. And that's that's kind of gets back to your logo too. You open up your website or your Instagram, and your logo's there, and it's just nice to look at, and it's visually pleasing, and
it's helpful.
Yeah,
it's helpful. I mean, look, there's a study of symbols. It's called semiotics, and basically, you can look at a red sign with the yellow word hamburger on it, right? And it's McDonald's, right? You see the swoosh, and it's Nike, right? Semiotics is something we've all been practicing our entire lives, right? We just don't know what it's called. It's the study of symbols. So it's important for you as a business owner to be comfortable with how you feel, the residual self-image of your brand. But at the end of the day, I've been in marketing long enough to know this. Logos don't sell tickets, okay? They just don't. It's an ego thing. It's a vanity thing. To your point, though, you've got to feel good about it for you to be in touch with it, right? However, I do feel that a good logo can transfer that feeling of what your brand experience is. I feel this transfers it. I think when somebody comes off one of my events, they're going to look at this and go, okay, I get it. That felt like something special. It didn't feel like this stupid corporate thing. It didn't feel like this lame booze cruise thing. It felt like something unique and different and special.
And authentic.
So, yeah, authentic. And that's what Cleveland is. You know, it was really important for me that this was a Cleveland designer, team, company, and they're authentic. Because this had to be that's what the show is.
I think that too, as a company, we're a design company and we're a custom design and printing company. And I think that's why, for me, it's really important that we are a team of designers and artists. So it is a team effort. And because because different artists have different styles, and it's important for me that, you know, if I need a really corporate, really clean corporate logo, I have, you know, another designer that I might use for something like that. And
so it's like a tattoo parlor, right? They've got multiple artists in there, right? They all have different styles, right? And you go to the one who's going to deliver what you're looking for.
Yeah, I guess the point I was trying to make is, like, you know, my ego is completely removed from the equation, because at the end of the day, I needed Admiral Jim to get the best possible logo, regardless if I did it or who did it. And Sandy was the right person for this logo, and to me, that's how you provide the best service. Is you do whatever it takes to get your customer exactly what they need.
She was, for sure. She did an amazing job. You both did. Very happy.
Well, I really appreciate your feedback. Well, I think I've got most of my questions in for you, man. I can't wait for floaters. You know, I'm definitely going to get a group of us to come out there and do the whole thing. And I don't want to know too much about it, because I want to just come and be surprised and just have a great time. But I think I just want to give you a lot of credit. I think it's really commendable that you've taken on like this ambitious project at this point in your life, because, you know, you talked about, like, you've had success with businesses, and you could have just kicked your feet up and rode that stuff into the sunset. But no, you felt that energy to start something new. And because you're a creator, man, and, like, yeah, you say you're not like a graphic artist or whatever, but you're a creator, and that's what you're doing, is you are creating something new. Yeah. And I think that's a huge emphasis of this podcast, is bringing on creators and founders and people that are pushing new things into the future. And I have nothing but respect for you for doing that. And I just think it's awesome.
Thank you.
What is your wife? Sorry, go ahead.
I never considered myself an artist until a couple of years ago, when to be an artist, I think you have to have a couple things. You have to have a medium, of course, painting, singing, music, whatever. And you also have to have a point of view, right? If you don't have a point of view, you're just kind of like, you don't know what you're creating. So I never had either of those things until recently. And then once I figured out that now I could create a piece of art, which is a show, right? And my writing, my ideas can become this art, right? And then have a point of view, which is the narrative, which is float above the BS, overcoming, sinking your worries, all that type of thing. You combine, that's what makes a great art, right? In my opinion, is creators who have point of view and have a good medium that they can transfer it through is what makes art great, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, for sure. If you had any questions for me, and what would you ask? Any questions for me today, or not really?
I mean, listen, I mean, what type of experience, I mean, do you cognizantly try to create for your customers? Because there were a couple unique things working with you. Number one, I thought this was really smart. You didn't just make me a logo and send it over digitally. You had me do a FaceTime and we talked about it and you showed it on the screen. And most people would have been just like, send me the logo and I'll review it and I'll get back to you. Is that a cognizant decision to do it that way?
Yeah, 100%. Because
Why?
that gives the client an opportunity to be a part of the process and be a part of the experience of designing their own logo. They can watch.
That's what I thought.
They can watch things get moved around. They can say, hey, let's make that yellow a little bit darker. And then they can watch the color change. But it's also, yeah, it's just humanizing it and bringing them in. Like, if I'm going to sit here and work on your logo, why don't you join me? Why don't you join me for a little bit and tell me your ideas, right? Like, because that's what it's all about. And so, yeah, I think there's the conscious effort of really trying to get my client involved and get them stimulated, give them something to like enjoy a little bit, make it a little bit of an enjoying, because it's a fun thing. We're designing a logo. This is fun. And, you know, if we're designing merch like t-shirts and stuff or whatever, like it's a fun thing. And if they can be involved in that, we try to get people involved as much as we can.
I thought it was really smart to do it that way.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. You said was there something else about us that you had in mind?
No, I think that was probably the
Okay.
biggest thing. I think that, that was probably, it created an experience of me working with you, which I noted in my head. I thought, okay, this is not like everybody else. And at the end of the day, the final outcome is, really all that matters. But the experience you created with me played a big part in whether or not I will recommend you to other people, because I won't just talk about how great the logo was. I'll also add in it was a nice experience to work with the team, which is in some ways just as important.
Yeah. I think another part of the experience too is like when we first met, I like meeting in person. I like bringing
Yes,
things for
for
people
sure.
to see, talking face to face. I like bringing stuff like samples of stuff that we printed for our brands or other clients, instead of just being like, okay, yeah, just shoot me an email with what you have in mind. I really like I'm kind of old school in that way. Maybe that's old school. I don't know. I like the face-to-face sales call thing. It just, for me, it feels more authentic, and I can get to know you a little bit more and get to know the client's vision a little bit better, and they can see samples of stuff that we've done. And I think that, I remember I did a sales call at a company, pretty big, like electrical networking company. I was just going to do some workwear for them, and I brought in some of our samples from our brand, and the owner, Pat, she's like 70 years old and still like crushing it over there. And she saw one of our Cleveland baseball designs and was just like freaking out and like running around the office with this t-shirt. She was like running around the office with this t-shirt, showing everybody this t-shirt that she loves so much. And it was just like, so it's just like trying to like humanize it. And if people, my big thing too, right? If like people are buying a product from us, and I want them to touch and feel and see product that we've done before. It's one thing to send people to our website and say, yeah, just look at our portfolio. It's another thing to really get your hands on, the apparel that we've made and see the prints and see the colors are bright and the details are good. And I don't know, man. I just try to, you know what it is? I think, Jim, I think a lot of it is I think I'm trying to do what other people just aren't doing. And I'm not doing that on purpose necessarily. Like, I'm not like seeing like, oh, this other shop isn't doing that, so I'm going to do it. I just think I'm going above and beyond, and I'm trying to go the extra mile, and I'm doing what I feel is necessary.
Yeah.
I felt it was necessary to meet you in person and to show you stuff in person. As a salesman, as a business owner, I feel like that's necessary. That is being thorough. That is going above and beyond. And if that means I need to go meet
what
Jim.
What you're describing is exactly what Cleveland values. I think as more AAI comes, and I'll be pushed more to inhuman experiences and connections. But also, what you're describing is removing the transaction, right? Professional services can be very transactional. Plumber, accountant, right? But the professional services that go beyond the transaction are the ones that last the test of time. They're the ones that you end up working with somebody for 30 years and your accountant is your kid's godfather, right? And those don't happen because you just sent a PDF over via email. That happened because you showed up at their house and you met them in person, right? So that's really kind of what that Misny book is all about. At the end of the day, it's like, how did you create this beyond just a transaction? How did you actually connect with human beings at motorcycle rallies and events? And so I think what you're doing is just beyond a transaction. You could have just been like, hey, send me a bunch of money, I'll make a logo for you and I'll send you the files over. But you didn't do that.
Yeah. And I think something that I was just thinking about too is like, somebody might email us asking us for a quote. A lot of other shops are just gonna put a quick quote together, send it back to them, maybe put some mock-ups together, send it back to them. The way I look at it, I'm like, okay, I have your quote. When can I come to your office, show you samples, show you your quote, bring you coffee, do whatever? That's just how my mind is. And as I was sitting here thinking about it a little bit, I think maybe it has a little bit to do with how I was raised. Like my mom and dad, or especially my mom, she's like, you're going to look this person in the eye, shake their hand, tell them thank you. You're not just going to call Jimmy's house and say thank you. You're going to go over there, you're going to knock on the door, and you're going to tell them thank you. Oh, and you're going to bring them these cookies too. And it's like, I have great parents, man, and they raised me well, and they raised me to their old school, but like, I feel like I've carried a lot of those values and human interaction values into my adult life and in my professional life. And that's the Daybreak standard is everything that I'm explaining. So, as this business grows and we hire people and we bring on more salespeople, like that is the Daybreak standard. Like you're going to go and meet clients. You're going to bring samples. You're going to bring them something to eat. If it's lunchtime, bring them lunch or whatever. And that's how we're always going to do things. I never want to be a business owner that's like, I do eventually want to step back into like a CEO role where I have like, an operations manager or GM, but I always want to be very involved with what's going on. I want to go on sales calls. I want to see the t-shirts that are going out the door. Like I couldn't imagine like not even knowing what we're printing. You know what I mean? Like I always want to be pretty involved, or at least know what's going on with my business, So
yeah, and that's what works in Cleveland. So keep it up.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about, man?
I'm good. I'm ready to get outside. The weather's nice today.
I know. I'm not gonna keep you too long. I thought we had a really great episode, and I just like want to thank you a lot for giving me the time. And I think we have a lot. There's a lot of really good insight that I think you have a lot of really good experience, and it's a really good insight that I think is going to help people a lot. So
I hope so.
Well, thanks again. And why don't you go ahead and plug your socials and everything so everybody knows where to find you?
2 sites. Go to clevelandfloaters.com or Google that, or put it on social media, and then letsgocle.com. Those are the two best places to find me.
There you go. And all of Jim's socials and links will be down in this description of this video. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel. You can share this video with your friends and get plugged into the Cleveland Floaters newsletters and social medias and everything so that you can get your tickets this summer when we start floating. All right, Jim, have a good rest of your day, man. Thank you so much.
We'll see you.
See ya.